Hi, Paulina. My name is Ellen, and I'll be correcting this essay for you today. Let's take a look at what you've written. The topic is about ex-prisoners and teenagers. Let's see what you wrote. A number of individuals who were convicted turned to normal members of the society, and it is opined that these are the proper people to discuss with juveniles the threats of breaking a law. I am strongly assured that ex-prisoners, especially those who assimilated back in civil society, may share their experience with outcomes of criminal actions. Okay, so um, what I see that you've done here is you've tried to rephrase the topic, and that's important. You've tried to express your position, okay, which is also important. But what happened is you may notice I use the word tried. So because it didn't really quite work out as well as you wanted. I'll explain to you why. Um, Part of it is vocabulary. In the first sentence, I can tell you for sure that part of it is vocabulary, part of it is grammar. In the second sentence, I can tell you for sure it's vocabulary and also task achievement. Okay, so why don't we go over it again and I'll tell you exactly what I mean. First of all, it's not a number of individuals because when you say this, it feels rather limiting. Okay, like a number could be, I don't know, like 10 or 20, but that's really, you're kind of making it finite, and that you don't want that. You want something a little more general. So here's something like some individuals, okay, would have been better. And then too many commas, you don't need them all. And I know that a lot of IELTS candidates love using words like opined, but guess what? As an educated native speaker and a former IELTS examiner, I've never used the word opined in a sentence. So why am I telling you this? Because it's just not natural. I've never seen it in, the countless books that I've come across. It's not really natural English, okay? At least not today, in 2023. So avoid this. Instead, use words that are more clear cut, that get your point across and are clearer. So let's try this one more time. Some individuals who were once convicted, uh, some individuals who were once convicted have become normal members of the society, and it is believed that these are the best or the most appropriate, we'll talk about that in a minute, people to discuss the threats of breaking a law with juveniles, okay? You have to discuss something with somebody. That's why I said there was grammar and vocabulary here. Then, not assured, that's the wrong word. I am strongly, let's see, what could you use here? How about we just do this? I am certain that ex-prisoners, especially those who have assimilated back into civil society, may share their experience with, no, may share their experience of criminal actions. I didn't like experience with outcomes. That didn't make sense. So grammatically, we fixed it. Now let's talk about what else needs to be fixed here. Grammatically and lexically, I should say. First of all, remember when I told you I said here the best or the most appropriate? The reason is you even highlighted it, the best people. It's not whether they are good people or proper people, but if they are the most appropriate, the best people, okay? The most proper. You see, there's this idea of comparison here where the prisoners, the ex-prisoners, are considered the best, the top, okay? So you have to keep that. You have to carry that. It's not just whether they're good or not, but whether they are, in fact, the best, okay? This is important if you're aiming for a band score of, say, for example, a 7 or higher. All right, so that's one thing. And then here again, it's not that you're certain that they may share their experience, but that this sharing of experience is the best way, again, that word best, the best way to prevent crime. Okay? So you made this far too general. Whereas you wanted it to be much more specific that, you know what, compared to everybody else who could talk to teenagers about crime, there is no one better than these ex-prisoners. Okay? So you needed to get this idea across. Let's keep going. We spent a lot of time on this, so let's move on. The issue of hostile behavior among youngsters in Western countries has grown in importance over not a few decades, over the past few decades. The personal experience of those who have gone through, not the conviction, have gone through, maybe the judicial system would have been nicer here, is not immensely, no, is attracting attention and can significantly influence, no, and can significantly influence adolescents who are already in a high risk group. Okay? Seminars and open classes with previously criminal involved people. All right. I don't love this expression. It doesn't feel like very natural English. Okay. Maybe, I don't know. It's just not terribly natural. Seminars and open classes with ex-convicts, former prisoners, former criminals. That would have been good. How about, there's a word I want. Reformed prisoners. That's what I wanted. Okay. Uh, so let's see. Seminars and open classes with reformed ex-criminals at schools, for instance, might change a myriad of pupils' minds and initiate their comeback uh, into civil living. I don't love this expression, civil living. May initiate their comeback. Okay. How about you tell me why? It is largely because they might realize the real situation in prison, such as cheap food, small cells, and isolation that prisoners experience daily. Okay, it's all right. I still think you could have done a little bit more to tell us why the ex-prisoners are the best people. Again, this idea here, the best. Why can no one else do this? For example, why can't police officers who work in the prisons tell the young people about these things? Okay, so you really need to make it a little more developed, a little more detailed. Okay, maybe that they have a level of detail in their storytelling that really hits home with the young people. Maybe the young people can identify with these ex-criminals and say, oh, wow, I don't want this to happen to me. I could be this guy. So I'm going to take the right path and, stay away from crime. So you need to talk about some of these things a little more. All right, let's continue. Moreover, for a number of boys and girls, the life of you're missing an article here, a thief or contrabandist might seem very appealing and it is very profitable, but it also provides a high dose of adrenaline. Consequently, following their romantic dreams, which is advertised in mafia movies. All right, grammar here is problematic. Okay, so consequently, following their romantic dreams, which are advertised in mafia movies such as The Godfather, one word, so persistently, they do not take seriously what they do. Okay, they do not take what they do seriously. The adverb has to go at the end, and how it might impact further on their lives. In Russia, for example, the percentage of robberies among school-age children has significantly lessened after special preventative educative seminars with real ex-thieves who now, all right, this is also difficult to read. It's creating a strain. The grammar is problematic. So let's talk about this. What is this paragraph about? You're saying here that okay, check this out, because we're going to talk about a handful of things here. We're going to talk about grammar, we're going to talk about vocabulary, we're going to talk about coherence and cohesion and task achievement all together. So you're telling me that it's appealing, but it gives you adrenaline. So they don't take this stuff seriously. Okay, they don't take any of this stuff seriously. Is that because of the adrenaline? I didn't really understand that. And then here, this for me does not link at all to anything you just said. So look, right, so let me show you what I mean. So your first sentence is about adrenaline, right? Then you talk about movies like The Godfather, who, which influence these teenagers. And then here you tell me that crime among young people has lessened. So you have three sentences that really don't feel like they match with each other at all. They don't link to each other in a logical kind of way. They just kind of seem disjointed and you put them together. Okay. Um, all right. So then the reason is that the person, you don't need this comma, who has already gone the whole way in crime and back could uncover all details of the future that young people, as a general rule, do not grasp fully. All right, let me see how that makes sense with the previous sentence. Robberies have significantly lessened after special seminars with real ex-thieves, VES, who have found their career path in social work. Okay. Okay, so still, I'm going to continue with what I said. I didn't feel like any of these sentences were linked. I do understand how this was linked to the last one, but the previous ones had absolutely no link to each other, and that's a matter of coherence and cohesion. It's also a matter of task achievement because what it means is that you're not fully developing the topic. Okay. All right. So in conclusion, I'm strongly, again, the word is wrong. I am strongly, how about supportive of the idea to involve people with real experience in criminal life who were able to change their fortune for the better. Wait a minute, what's going on with your grammar here? How about this? I am confident that the idea to involve people with real experience in criminal life might become a better role model for those adolescents who might commit legal acts. All right, that's better. You need to get rid of that, who were able to change their fortune. The real life stories may impress much, no, not much stronger. The real life stories may be more effective, okay, than rather than statistical numbers. Additionally, these personal examples could reveal the reality and prevent the youngsters from over romanticizing an illegal lifestyle. I hope educational programs at schools, especially in drug dealing, shooting, contraband, stealing, and prostitution, would become a widespread practice internationally. Okay. Fine. Fine. It's fine. I did have a little concern that I thought you were adding some new information. Like, let me show you. Where was it? You said this, real life stories rather than statistical numbers. Remember how I told you about comparison and it's like how the ex-criminals are the best people, the best people. I kept saying it over and over. Well, this is the first time you've had any sort of comparison here. And I think this is what you should have talked about maybe in your body paragraphs. Okay. So you should have talked about what has been used to teach young people about the dangers of crime and why maybe are those things not effective. Okay. Does that make sense? So then here, I wouldn't want you to be introducing a new idea. It is a new idea. Okay. This idea of statistical numbers. So this shouldn't have been here. Instead, it should have been somewhere in your body paragraphs talking about what methods don't work against crime. Okay? So Paulina, I don't know if you told us, maybe you did, what score you need, but I think that you're going to find your preparation will be a lot easier if you sign up to the online course because it's going to cover everything you need, really structure and task achievement and vocabulary and grammar, everything you really need to excel and to get ahead in IELTS. Do take a look at it. I think it's going to really, really help you and totally change the way you write. So thanks for sending this in. Good luck to you.